Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. Odysseus's ship. That is a very interesting philosophical thought experiment, and it applies to watches. Let me just talk about it. I've covered it years ago in a video that I shot at Shinagawa Station. I'll put the link to that video in the description, but essentially it poses this question, and it has to do with identity. Let's say you have Odysseus's wooden ship and you replace a screw. Is it still Odysseus's ship? What about 2 screws, 3 screws? When does it not become his ship anymore? If you replace a part one by one and 100 years down the road, it looks the same, but none of those parts were from the time of Odysseus, is it still Odysseus's ship? When does the shift happen? Now, my daughter says when you get to that 51% of other parts that Odysseus wasn't around. But it goes to identity, and it applies to watches. When is a Rolex, and when is it not? I mean, if you have an aftermarket bracelet on your Rolex watch, is it a Rolex watch? What's the identity of that watch? Well, we have the answer. The courts have ruled, and there was a judgment against Becker Time. Oh, Becker Time. I hate Becker Time. They replace parts. Well, they used to. I don't know what they're doing now, but I would see their advertisements on eBay, and you read the fine print, and a lot of replacement parts. I would see oyster bracelets without the coronet on the clasp, and I think you replaced that. And if you looked at the fine print, they did. Well, they were sued by Rolex, and they lost. All right. Now, I have audio of the court proceedings, and I'm going to make that available to members. It's about 45 minutes and some of the most interesting audio that you could hope to hear in regards to why Becker Time thought that they should be able to replace parts and Rolex thought they shouldn't be able to. And it hinges around the claim of these being authentic Rolex watches. Is a Rolex watch authentic with aftermarket parts? And that's kind of like the Odysseus's ship idea. Now, before I tell you the result, there was also a judgment against another company that was fiddling with Rolex watches in favor of Rolex. And I'll put a link to an article for my members to that. And that's a whole nother thing, and very interesting. But what's the decision? Well, basically, a Rolex watch is not an authentic Rolex watch if the bracelet, dial, or bezel has been replaced. So there we have it. I mean, is a Rolex watch if any of those essential parts have been replaced? Well, according to law now, no, it's not a Rolex watch anymore. It's certainly not an authentic Rolex watch, and you can't make those claims. So there we have it. A philosophical and horological problem have been solved by the courts in favor of Rolex. You know, in another video, I might talk about my opinions on this. I've got a nuanced approach, but on the whole, I'm pretty happy because I hated Becker Time, and I hated their listings and the watches they were selling, and I thought anybody that bought from Becker Time was getting a horrible piece, and a piece not much cheaper than a truly authentic 100% original Rolex watch. And I felt like they were making out like bandits on the ignorance of the common person. So screw them, and I'm happy that Rolex got the drop on them. All right, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this. Is a Rolex watch still a Rolex watch if the bezel is replaced, the dial is replaced, or the bracelet? Let me know what you think. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.